He wrote to her every week for 2 years, every single week, without fail, without knowing if she was reading them, without knowing if she was okay, without knowing if she still thought about him or had moved on completely or had simply decided that the silence was her answer. He wrote anyway. Today on the Story Files, I want to tell you about the specific kind of love that does not require a response to remain consistent, and what happened the day she finally opened the drawer where she had kept every single letter he had ever sent. Welcome back to YinkusPepe Talks, real talk, real life with clear eyes. My name is YinkusPepe, and this is the Story File, where we tell real stories about real people, because sometimes the most important truths about love can only be found in the specific details of how real people lived them. David and Fumi had been together for 4 years when he was deployed. They were not married yet. They had talked about it in the specific way that couples talk about the future, when the future feels certain but not yet urgent. They were building toward it, slowly, deliberately, in the way of two people who were in no hurry because they were confident in where they were going. And then his unit received orders, and the timeline of their life together, the quiet, unhurried certainty of it, was suddenly interrupted by something neither of them had planned for. He left on a Tuesday morning. She stood at the gate, watched him go, and told herself that 2 years was not forever, that people did this, that love had survived longer separations than this and come out to the other side intact. She believed it when she said it. The silence. The first 3 months were manageable. Letters took time. Communication was limited. She understood the logistics and she worked within them. She wrote back. She told him about her days and her work and the small things that accumulated into the texture of a life being lived without the person you were building it for. And then something shifted. It was not one thing. It was the accumulation of many small things. The letter that arrived 2 weeks late and contained a detail that told her he had been in more danger than he had admitted. The night she woke up at 3 in the morning with fear so specific and so complete that she could not name its source. The growing weight of not knowing, not just where he was or whether he was safe, but who he was becoming in a place that was asking things of him she could not imagine and he could not fully describe. She started to distance herself from the not knowing, not from him, from the ache of him, from the specific pain of loving someone you cannot reach and cannot protect and cannot do anything for except wait. She stopped writing back. Not all at once. The letters became shorter, then less frequent, then they stopped. She told herself it was self-protection, that she was managing the only thing she could manage, her own emotional survival. That loving someone this hard from this far away with this little certainty was more than she had the capacity to sustain. She put his letters in a drawer. Every one that arrived, she read them once and put them away, and she told herself she would respond when she felt stronger. She never felt stronger. The drawer kept filling up. What he did. He noticed the silence. Of course, he noticed. The letters he had been receiving, shorter, then infrequent, then absent, told him something was wrong long before anyone said anything directly. He did not know what to do with that information from where he was. He could not call. He could not show up. He could not have the conversation that the situation required because the situation had removed all of his options except one. So he kept writing. Not because it was certain she was reading, not because the silence had not landed, not because he was pretending everything was fine when it clearly was not. He wrote because it was the only thing available to him, because stopping felt like the specific kind of giving up that he was not willing to do, because every letter, even the ones that went unanswered, even the ones he was not sure she was opening, was a weekly record of the fact that he had not stopped, that he was still there, that the silence on her end had not produced silence on his. He wrote about ordinary things, what the food tasted like, what the sky looked like in the morning, what he was reading, what he was thinking about, what he was looking for too. He wrote about her, not with pressure, not with accusation. He wrote about her the way you write about someone whose presence in your life is simply fact. She appeared in his letters the way she appeared in his thoughts, constantly, naturally, without announcement. He wrote every week for 2 years. She kept every letter in the drawer. The return. He came home on a Thursday afternoon. She knew he was coming. She had known the date for 3 weeks and had spent those 3 weeks in the specific paralysis of someone who does not know how to face the thing they had been avoiding. She had not told him she was sorry. She had not explained the silence. She had not prepared anything except the fact of her presence in the apartment they had shared before he left. He walked in and she was standing in the kitchen, and for a long moment neither of them said anything. Then she went back into the bedroom and she came back with the drawer. Not just a few letters, the entire 2 years of correspondence stacked. Every envelope still sealed on the ones she had not been able to open at all. Every opened one carefully folded back into its envelope and kept in order. She put it on the table between them. He looked at it for a long time. Then he looked at her. She said, I read every one, even the ones I told myself I had not opened. I read them all and I kept them all, and I did not write back because I did not know how to survive loving you from this far away, and I am so sorry. He was quiet for a moment. Then he said, I know. I wrote to you anyway. The conversation. What followed was not a simple reunion, it was a real conversation. What followed was not a simple reunion, it was a real conversation, the kind that a 2-year silence requires. She told him what the distance had actually done to her, not the manageable version she had been presenting to everyone around her, the real one, the 3 in the morning fear, the specific grief of loving someone you cannot reach, the way she had retreated into herself because the alternative was falling apart completely and she had not trusted herself to fall apart and come back together. He listened to all of it without defending himself against any of it. He did not tell her she should have written anyway. He did not make her silence about him. He heard it and what it was, a woman who had loved him so much that the distance had become unbearable, and the only thing she had known how to do with unbearable was stop looking at it. And then he told her what writing to her had done to him. Now, every letter had been an act of faith, not in her specifically responding, but in the relationship itself, and the belief that what they had built was solid enough to survive her silence, the same way it was surviving his absence. She asked him, what would you have done if you had come home and the drawer was empty? He thought about that for a long time. Then he said, I would have kept writing anyway because I was not writing for the response. I was writing because that is who I want to be for you. Someone who does not stop. She married him 4 months later. I want to talk about what this story is actually saying, because it is not just a love story, though it is that. It is a story about what commitment looks like when it has nothing to lean on except itself. David could not fix the distance. He could not make the separation easier. He could not give Fumi what she needed most. All he could do was write, and so he wrote. Every week, without guarantee, without reciprocation, without any evidence that it was working or being received or making any difference at all. That is not romantic. That is a decision made weekly for 2 years in the specific, unglamorous way of a person who had decided who they want to be in a relationship and shows up as that person regardless of what they are getting back. And to the Fumis, the ones who have pulled back, not because the love disappeared, but because loving this hard from this far away became more than they knew how to hold. The ones with the full drawer and the guilty silence and the not knowing how to begin the conversation that the silence has made necessary. But you do not have to have had it all figured out. You do not have to have handled it perfectly. You just have to be willing, eventually, honestly, to put the drawer on the table. Real love does not require a perfect response. It requires an honest one. And the person we're choosing is the one who was writing anyway. Thank you so much for watching. If this conversation resonated with you, do not forget to like, share, subscribe, and join the conversation in the comments below. And until next time, this is YinkusPepe.